10 times a month, in bed. That was the rule Julian Blackwood, my husband, was forced to follow, laid down by his mistress. Non-negotiable. This month, he fell short, only managing 9 because he was too busy. In retaliation, his mistress went on a one-day hunger strike. To appease her, Julian actually begged me to reassure Tiffany. Arya, please talk to Tiffany. Tell her I haven't touched you all year. Make sure she isn't jealous or upset. My jaw dropped. Julian and I hadn't been intimate in 3 years, but this request was beyond absurd. I agreed to help, but couldn't help scoffing. You should really see a doctor. If you can't even manage 10 nights a month, what mistress would even want you? I called Tiffany, my voice composed. Julian has belonged to you for a long time, and that isn't going to change. After I hung up, Julian tried to pacify me. You're always in my heart too, Arya. But his words meant nothing to me. We had been separated for almost 2 years and were on the verge of finalizing our divorce. However, Tiffany wasn't satisfied. She didn't believe Julian had stayed away from me. Julian eventually returned, looking defeated, and asked for another favor. I asked him directly, Julian, what exactly do you expect from me? How about you go to the hospital for a pelvic exam? The doctor can prove you haven't been active in a long time. Don't worry, I'll make sure it's a female doctor. He paused, then added, Tiffany's fixated on this. She won't believe it otherwise. Just indulge her this once. A wave of nausea washed over me. I recoiled, putting as much distance between us as possible. Even though I'd long since given up on him, hearing him make such a request for the sake of his mistress sent a chill through me. Ignoring my distress, he pressed on. Just think of it as a regular checkup. The disgust in my chest intensified. Julian, let's just get this divorce over with. I snapped. Knowing he was in the wrong, he didn't push it. His tone softened. Don't be angry. You're always the most important person to me. Just cool off for a bit. He always said that. He'd claim I was the most important, then climb into his mistress's bed night after night. He assumed his wealth and power meant I'd tolerate anything. After all, I'd clawed my way past a line of socialites to become Mrs. Blackwood. What Cinderella, once she secured the castle, would ever want to leave? He had no idea that the Cinderella had already saved enough money to stand on her own. Julian's phone rang again. I heard Tiffany crying hysterically. Julian, I became your mistress at 18. You promised me 10 nights a month and that you'd never touch your wife. You're a liar. It's over. Tiffany Reed was the most spoiled and demanding woman he'd ever kept, but Julian doted on her the most. Even a year ago, when his mother passed away unexpectedly, Julian left the funeral early to be with Tiffany. He left me to handle everything alone. That night, Tiffany sent me taunting photos, explicit shots of her and Julian in bed. From that day on, I knew this wasn't just physical. Julian was truly in love. He loved her enough to trample my dignity. Tiffany, if you won't take my word for it, fine. Julian snapped. Tomorrow, I'll have a doctor examine her. Then you'll see. I froze. I never imagined that despite my refusal, he would actually agree to this just to appease her. The next morning, Tiffany arrived with a male doctor. Julian was taken aback. No male doctors. It has to be a woman. A flicker of jealousy flashed across his face. He was a serial cheater, yet he kept me on a tight leash. If I spoke to another man for more than 2 sentences, he'd explode. Tiffany scoffed. What's the difference? It's just a quick exam anyway. Julian coaxed her. Let's find a female doctor instead. Reluctantly, Tiffany agreed. I walked up to her and slapped her across the face. Who the hell do you think you are? You're nothing but a mistress. What right do you have to interfere in my bedroom? Then, just to spite her, I added, the only reason Julian didn't meet your quota is because he spent 17 nights in my bed this month. He's exhausted. 17. The number